First, here we go right away. First guy, Z, for your 2025 American prospects was number 1 to start the year. Now people think he's going to fall somewhere between 5 and 10. Talk to me about James Haggins of the BC Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, he's I've been surprised. I wasn't surprised they started getting stick as the year went on. I'm surprised how much he has, because realistically, he's done nothing to really warrant crazy criticism. Even I remember I was listening to I was reading some of the guys from EP and the Athletic were talking to scouts at the World Juniors this year, and they were like, we were looking for some more production to really feel comfortable about having him as a top 5 prospect or whatever. In college hockey, as a true freshman, playing on the best line in college hockey, potentially point per game, and also it's just he hasn't really he was never put in a position where it's this is your team, go. He hasn't had to, because he's the only prospect that's jumped up a major level. The guys in the CHL, they've been there forever, a couple of years. He literally went from the USNTDP, the USHL, to college hockey on one of the best. Well, they were the number 1 team in the country coming in to the season. Put up a point per game. He's got elite skill. He's an elite skater. He doesn't necessarily have to play center. He can play wing if you want him to play wing. That's it's not it feels like he's getting the whole he's an undersized center used against him, and I'm okay, put him at fucking wing. I still think you have some skill that just you don't see come up very often. He's a legit top 6 high upside point per game player, put up a point per game in college hockey. So I think he's awesome. So he's my first one off the board. I still would be fine if you want to take him 3, 4, 5. I have Misa and Schaefer ahead of him, in terms of the just ranking them.
So you got him at 3
totality. I'd put him at 3.
Okay. That's definitely different than what other people are saying, but I think
it's 3 or 4. I don't know. I could go back and forth, I guess.
Right. Yeah. You got the tier here, 3 to 6. I get it. But it's just so lazy to me that people are he's not driving play. He's a passenger. He joined the best line of the previous year, replaces Will Smith, 2 guys that are studs. No shit, he's not the one driving play. What the fuck do you expect? And this is a guy, I'm not saying what he will or won't do, but this could be the guy that, let's say he falls somewhere from 5 to 8. The team that drafts him next year, he could come out and be a Hobie candidate because, oh, wait, now it is his team and his line, and he is going to take over and show you a completely different dimension to his game. But do you feel like a player like James Haggins is evaluated differently because he came in as the number 1 guy before the season started? Is that why scouts are nitpicking and they're saying oh, we wanted to see a little bit more from him at World Juniors, this and that? If he wasn't the number 1 initially, do you think people view him the same way?
Yeah, I think he's just you hear a lot more criticism about him than anyone else, which is crazy. So yeah, I get I think that played a big role. The fact that, again, he's shown just playing on the best line of college hockey also doesn't guarantee that you're going to put up points. It's a huge leap going from the NTDP to college hockey as a 17-year-old. That's just doing that's hard. Playing on the number 1 team in the country is fucking hard. But just because you play with 2 of the best wingers in the country on the best line historically, that doesn't guarantee that you're just gonna come in and be fine. You don't have to. You can just skate around and you'll get your points without trying. There's a reason he's play per game. There's a reason he's stuck with those 2 players the whole year. At no point did he look out of place playing college hockey. He has the combination of skill, the skating, it's he looks like guys like Logan Cooley, Jack Hughes, and he's put up historic numbers at the program too, that are on par with that. The fact that he took the leap that he took and no part of his game trailed off, it is not an easy situation to just jump right into. And he did what he needed to do. He won a gold World Juniors. He scored a game in the gold, or scored a goal in the gold medal game too there. he's going to be able to drive play when he has to. So and that's another thing too. Like, let's say whatever he gets drafted, I'd have him go back to BC next year.
You gotta
and take that team over. Like, just take over.
Here's the real question: do you think anyone from this draft class jumps in?
I think Misa can jump in. I think Schaefer can jump in.
Can or should?
I mean, like, if you told me Schaefer goes back, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, because I think he's barely eligible for this draft. Like, he is fresh.
Barely eligible, barely played. Like, I'm not bringing
when
Schaefer
preseason
unless
starts,
he
he's
makes
still be
a no-brainer decision in training camp, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Misa, sure, I can see the argument either way, but anyone else, like, pretty unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, Misa is probably the guy that is. I would assume he jumps in right away wherever he goes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I love James Hagens. Very fun player. The combination of the skill, the skating, how well he moves, the difficult plays that he makes at full speed, adjusting on the fly. Like, he is just awesome. So love James Hagens. For me, he's in the 3 to 6 tier. And who knows, maybe he will drop farther than that. If he just drops to 7, I'll be excited.
All right. Number 2 for American-born, or not American-born, but playing in America. We've got Cullen Potter, an interesting guy in his own right with his movement in NCAA. Even more of a legal midget than James Haggins, but a guy that obviously there's reasons that people are talking about him. Z, you got him at 2. Why?
Another kid, so like him and Hagens are right neck and neck as far as like the best skating forwards in this draft. Like, he might, and Cullen Potter might be the best at the forward position. He might be the best skater in this draft. Watching him push the play at Arizona State has been incredible. Like, 13 goals, 22 points in 35 games, again, as a freshman, when, like, it was a late decision for him to jump into play college hockey. It was always going to be risky. And, like, that's like the NCHC is obviously a tough environment to play in, but he can play center, he can play wing. I think of the NHL, he's probably a winger, but another guy that makes plays at full speed, and watching him push the pace in transition is very fun. He was incredible at the U18s. I think he ended up top 3 player on USA. I'm just pulling that up. Yeah, he got USA top 3 players in the U18s. But again, impressive numbers for such a young player at Arizona State. Plays with pace, could score goals, can make plays, uses his like speed to like back players off. Like, if you are even just like one step too close, he just burns. He can take you wide. Very creative, very smart player. He's awesome. I love Cullen Potter, so I'd put him at 2.
Nice. In the 15 to 25 range, like, where do you personally place him? Like, where today, where do you place him in that 10 spot range? Is he going to be in the teens or the 20s today?
For me, I'd probably put him late teens.
Okay. Nice. All right. Mateo, moving on to number 3. Shane, is it Vansaghi?
Vansaghi.
Sounds very like Miyagi.
He's also a right wing. But
irrelevant.
By a soft position center, but 6'2", 260, plays right wing for Michigan State. Again, like, played a really limited role too. Like, as far as limited minutes. Like, I think he was averaging 9-10 minutes per night, making the most of his time. Like, 16 points in 37 games is impressive. He is relentless on the forecheck, and he hammers guys.
Yeah.
He just plays such like an NHL style too. So I think, like, he's obviously going to be back playing college hockey again on a really fucking good Michigan State team again next year with those guys coming in. He's obviously going to get more opportunity as far as like playing up with the lineup. Could score goals. He's got a good shot. Every once in a while, he's capable of making some plays, but just makes the most of those limited minutes, and it's like just very impressive. So he's just a solid player.
It's weird to me because, like, I remember him from Michigan State coming to Minnesota when you were in the press box with me, and I just assumed this was like a veteran guy, like, playing those types of minutes. knowing now that he is draft eligible, like it just casts it in a whole different light. Like when I saw that he was number 3 on your list, I'm like, I'm one, shocked that he's even draft eligible. 2, shocked that he's this high. So it's interesting to see how you evaluate a guy that plays that few of minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like given the role that he's put in, like there's obviously be a lot of NHL teams that cast him as just like bottom 6 masher, like solid defensively, could kill penalties, like heavy on the forecheck. But like there is some skill in his game too. Like he does make the occasional play. He just like knows his role, especially right now in Michigan State. So I think he's a super smart player. And there are shifts in the offensive zone where it's just like him and whoever his line mates are, just like control the puck. But like he is just a big, mean, physical guy that's going to kill you on the forecheck. But every once in a while, like he wouldn't even make some plays like skill wise, he can do it. So I like Shane Vansaghi a lot. I bet he goes first round. Wouldn't be surprised if he's outside, but I don't know. I think he might go even earlier, but we'll see.
Nice. All right, number 4, Logan Hensler, who compared to your way too early draft rankings, I think you had him at like 8, maybe. He's fallen quite a bit, but still right on the edge of being a first rounder by your tiers. Talk to me, like, why has he fallen? Why do you still like him? How does he fit?
I think the big question or like the big concern with Logan Hensler, I still think he ends up going early when he skates. He's a right shot D man. He's 6'2". He's can give you a little bit of everything, and he moves as well as he moves. He's gonna go middle of the first round most likely, and you probably feel like you can mold him to whatever you want him to be. I think right now, like industry wide, people have no idea what type of defenseman he's going to be at the NHL level. Like he's not necessarily like an elite power play guy. He does have offense in there. Like he's got skill. He could shoot. Like he can make plays. And even he played pretty big minutes at Wisconsin. So it was just a lot of like hit or miss with him this year. But again, he's a solid enough defender, but he's not necessarily like a shutdown guy. So like I think a lot of people are just struggling with what the projection actually is. I still think he can be a really good 4 or 5 that's going to give you some offense that is like reliable somewhat defensively. But there are games where it's just like a little bit chaotic. You're just not sure. Like the concern is just like not being able to feel confident mapping out what he looks like at the next level. So like I wouldn't be, if you told me he went 15, I'd be like, yep, that doesn't surprise me. If you told me he went 35, I'd be like, yep, that doesn't surprise me. Like it's one of those where it's like there's a lot of runway, I guess. So you could take positives or negatives from that, I guess, realistically. When you have like the intangibles that he has, like you can work with them. But I think just like it's a struggle to figure out what the projection really is.
So the Wild take him in the second round. How do you feel about it?
That's great. I mean, you throw him in there.
Beautiful. All right. Number 5. Sasha, is it Boumediene?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He just, even before just to talk about as a player, he just went off at the U18s. Ended up defenseman of the tournament, most points with 14 in like 7. Where did I just had? Oh god damn! I just had it up. Oh yeah, 7 games, 14 points, included a 6 assist first game. But he's got just the Howitt from the back end, offensive D-man, 6'2", 180. Struggled at the beginning playing like college hockey this year. I didn't know he was coming over to BU this early. I think the original plan may have even been for him to come over in like a year from Sweden. But once he kind of figured out his role, got established, he looked really good for BU, played pretty big minutes as he got more comfortable. Didn't put up crazy offense. I think given the fact that like next year you're probably not going to have Hudson in front of you at BU. Like I would imagine.
You don't think Hudson's there next year?
I don't know. I can't. I honestly, I have no idea.
I'd be surprised. I don't know.
Who knows? But
good for other college hockey teams, I guess.
Yeah, true. But I mean, also like Willander won't be there. He was a big minute muncher for BU.
Is Willander out?
I think he signed. But so either way, there's going to be more opportunity for him to play more minutes. I think he'll probably potentially even like double that point total because he's got the offensive ability. He skates really well. He's got the size. He can play physical too. At times leaves you wanting more defensively. At one point, this was like probably like a top 15, top 20 pick. But the Holinka did not go well for him. And then again, like he started off college hockey pretty slow, but looked significantly more comfortable as the year went on, and obviously was phenomenal at the U18. So I think that's also going to really help his draft stock. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go in the first round. I'd probably feel comfortable like early second more than anything else. But again, like when you got a kid that moves as well as he moves at his size, when you see him be physical at times and like he's got the offensive pop, that's always going to be an intriguing player, and like one that you can take later potentially in the first round or early second, where you feel like there's a pretty decent ceiling, especially in this draft where that tails off pretty quick. But he could potentially looks like a guy that could potentially be like a 4.
There we go. Number 6, Vaklav Nestrasil. That's like it's like a Vaklav Prospol, but then it's like some kind of cold medication. I don't know where else to go with it. Run with it. We playing out of is he Muskegon? So he's playing right now. You got him tier 35 to 45. What do people need to know?
Another guy started the season super slow. But I mean, well, first of all, he is just a massive human being. I think like his official, I can't remember if it was The Athletic that put up a profile on him. It's like the height's like 6 feet 5 inches, 0.75 or whatever. He's basically a 6'6" dude, but big kid. Obviously, he moves okay, like fine. Like actually, he moves well enough. But started the season off super slow. I think he had like 8 points first 20 games or so, and then finished like just under a point per game in the last 40. Like the numbers don't necessarily jump off the page, but like he scored some big goals and big time moments. He's a solid playmaker as well. He's physical, hits everything that moves. Very fun to watch. But a lot of big moments for Muskegon in the playoffs down the stretch of the regular season. But yeah, I think he might. I think EP actually had him right around 2024 or something like that. I think as he like fills out too, like he's still, for a guy that's 6'5", 6'6", like 190 is pretty light. I think as he fills out and adjusts to his frame, like there's a potential like super high ceiling in there. But he's got some skill. He's got a good shot, capable of making plays. Very, very fun player. He gives you a little bit of everything offensively. But I would imagine NHL teams just look at him in some of the big moments he's had this year and take him potentially in that first round. I'd probably feel more comfortable around like 40, 45. But big kid, skates pretty well for his size. Very smart player. Gives you a little bit of everything offensively. Seems like a middle 6 guy that can contribute some decent points.
No back issues?
Not that I know of.
Okay, that's good. All right. That's good. All right. Moving on to number 7, Ivan Riyabkin, who I was actually a little surprised to see here. I know you were pretty down on him for a while. Talk about what we've seen since he came over to the USHL.
There are a million different outcomes for this. Actually, no, there's not. There's 2. It's either he's going to be great or he's just not going to play in the NHL. Like, he is insanely skilled. His numbers, he broke Michkov's draft -1 scoring record in the MHL. And he also in the draft -2 over in Russia, he put up numbers similar to Demidov. And then this year starts off first couple games pretty well, earns a call up to the VHL and the KHL, plays essentially 0 minutes. Then he goes back down to the MHL, the U20 in Russia, and did nothing. He's getting like healthy scratched. Big issue with discipline. Some have described him as like he's super nice, but he also just like this uncoachable almost, where he's just like some of the penalties he's taken. I think in his first USHL game, he got kicked out for a slew foot, like super undisciplined. I think in 27 games, was it how many did he play in the regular season? 27 games. Yeah, 70 penalty minutes, couple game misconducts. Like he's just like super undisciplined, but like ridiculously high upside as far as skill and offensive like potential goes. It's through the roof. Again, this is a guy coming into the year. We were consensus top 10. Elite shot, really, really good playmaker, reads offense, like incredible reading of it's really like offensive IQ when he's not killing people and taking down penalties. He's just there's a ton of upside. He's just like, can he can he do it? Like, can he like not be a lunatic? But he's just like, I don't know. We have like one of the guys at Smart Scouting. He works in the USHL, and he's just like, again, he's a fascinating hockey player. He's just like one of the most skilled guys anyone's ever seen. And it's not that he's a bad guy. It's just like he's like a child. Like we don't. It's like crazy. Like the coaches are going nuts. But I mean, 19 goals in 27 games, but the 70 penalty minutes is just what stands out. But Muskegon just won the Clark Cup, so now got that under his belt. Put up some decent numbers in the playoffs as well. Let me pull up the actual. Why is that frozen? Yeah, 60 points in 14 playoff games, 30 penalty minutes. So he hit exactly 100 PIMs between the regular season and the playoffs this year. But a lot of dumb penalties, discipline issues. But again, can score goals, can make plays, decent skater. And like, I mean, the when he does put up points, it's like highlight reel film stuff. So he's a very fun player, super undisciplined. So you probably are going to be very nervous if you take him in the first round. If you have like one first round pick, you like hope you're like potentially never going to see him play, but you're hoping obviously he hits and can figure out the discipline issues because it's bad.
Speaking of highlight reel film stuff for Russians, anyone that hasn't already, check out Danila Yurov highlight package from this season. Great work from Z. And have to note, in the middle of this segment, repeat, baby. Stay frosty. Minnesota, back-to-back champs.
Hey.
In the PWHL. I have nothing else to say on that. Minnesota will dominate women's professional sports forever, and men's teams will continue to make us very, very sad. It's unfortunate, but awesome for the girls. Go Frost, even though I wish that you were the Purple Rain.
Fair.
Number 8. Riker Lee. Sick jersey, by the way. Damn.
Massive Capitals.
All right. Z, what do we need to know here? Center / right wing. So we probably should start with, is this guy going to be a center or is he going to be a wing?
I think he'll probably be a wing.
Okay.
But Riker Lee, he's awesome. 6 foot, 180 pounds, headed to Michigan State.
Isn't everyone?
Yeah, pretty much. Had a ridiculous year in the USHL this year. All rookie team, all-star, USHL rookie of the year, 68 points in 58 games. He's just like super fun to watch. Like super quick hands, super creative with the puck, can score goals, can make plays, can play again, plays splits time between center and wing, probably projects more like a wing in the NHL. Teammates call him the Wizard, by the way. Fun fact. But he's just super, super high upside as far as just like the talent goes. And I think this is a kid that you can get on day 2 where there's only so many players who look like someone who could have potentially like top 6 upside in the future down the line if all things go well. Love that he's headed to Michigan State. Off the puck, he's gonna have some issues there as he continues to grow. But like this is just like a name that if you pick him up on day 2, you're probably very excited. I love watching him play. But just a beast this year, the USHL, obviously rookie of the year. Super high upside. See, he's also phenomenal at Shattuck, by the way. Put up crazy numbers there a couple years ago.
We like that. All right. Number 9. William Moore, 6'2" center from the USNTDP. Let's hear it.
Yeah,
You had him way higher, by the way, in your way too early draft rankings. So
yeah, and like the predictable thing happened with the USNTDP where it's like you don't really get a great read on any of these guys now, just given how like not great the team was in general.
Right.
He put up decent enough numbers. Would have liked to see him produce more. Let's see, with the NTDP, 59 points, 64 games. Then they were playing in the USHLs 21 and 25. Was really good at the U18s, which is nice. Put up some good numbers there. Yeah, 11 points in 7 games. But he's got some he's a super creative, skilled centerman. Decent enough as far as like this two-way play goes. But this year is just always tough. This year was just tough to just gauge any of the program kids. We'll say the same thing with the next kid too. But he's 6'2" center, skates pretty well. It's got some legit upside as far as like the skills scoring goes. Headed to BU, I think, if I had that right. Hold on. BC, sorry. Next guy's going to be BU. So this would be a real nice player for them to pick up as well. Should be able to go there, produce next year. Should find himself in a pretty good situation with solid line mates. But it was just a tough year to gauge anything in the US or with the USNTDP. Just not a great group. But another guy that came into the year with super high expectations, super high pedigree. Just it is what it is with the program this year. But numbers weren't terrible. But you've got a high upside player there. I wouldn't be shocked if he still goes first round, I think. Because he has the pedigree, so you probably take his environment into account when you're making that pick. But 6'2" center, solid upside. Probably don't hate a late first round swing if you're a fan of a team that does that. He's fun though on his day.
Do you think the fishbowl holds him back at all?
People are saying,
All right, rounding it out. Number 10. Another USNTDP guy, another center that's over 6 foot. So he's a giant. Tiers 50 to 60. Jack, is it Murtaugh or Murtag?
Just Murtag. I assumed when I read it the first time it would be but it's Murtag.
Just get rid of the H.
Yeah, I don't know. But 6 foot centerman, just right around 200 pounds, put up 53 points, 56 games with the program this year. Probably a guy that ends up going late first still. Heavy shooter, flies up and down the ice, works super hard. Little inconsistent until the end of the season. He kind of finished off pretty strong with the program. But there's a ton of upside. Just again, another guy that flies up the ice, got some two-way ability, physical. Works super hard. I probably would even just given production versus expectation, I'd probably even flip these two if you were to ask me again. But
hey, Z, let me ask you again. Who are your 9 and 10?
What?
Who are your 9 and 10?
William Moore, Jack Murtag.
Yeah. In what order?
The one I sent over was Moore and then Murtag, and then
You said if I asked you again, so I asked you again.
Okay, I'd probably flip them. I don't know. I believe that there's more. Like I could see, like William Moore, I could see either like being solid or just never playing. Murtag, I think, just ends up finding his way to be a solid NHLer. Like he has some top 6 upside. Like he can really pound a fucking puck too. He can score goals. But he also just like works super hard. So if you have him in your bottom 6, he's gonna fill a role there too. But so again, I'd probably flip him if I sent it over list again.
Sure.
But he's a fun player. He was really good down the stretch too. He was pretty good in somewhat limited role to U18s. Still played like 15, 60 minutes a night. But yeah.
Nice. All right, that rounds out the top 10. You did give 8 honorable mentions. There's 2 in particular I want to hear about. First one, of course, right here. And for our boy Cole, no Mason West.
Yeah, I should have just thrown him in there. What if
just for the clicks?
Just because. What a fascinating player.
Is he a hockey player?
I don't like the fact that he could just he's like, we'll figure it out. I don't know yet. It's insane. Like he's getting D1 football offers. I mean, he's just an animal. Was he? Yeah, 6'6", 207. Put up 49 points at Edina this year. Then goes over to the USHL, 9 points in 10 regular season games. He only gets a couple playoff games, but like he's getting D1 football offers. He's a freak athlete. Like he's awesome. Like the fact that he has this range of like this amount of opportunities, like, I don't know. I don't know what I feel like doing.
I think it would be a lawyer.
Lee's better. Pretty sure he's better at hockey than he is football, but like he's still getting D1 football offers. That's insane. For a kid that's like this good. I would imagine he still gets drafted second round unless he's like telling teams I feel like playing football. But I could see, I would assume he goes mid, late second. Who knows? Potentially even early second, just given the fact that he's a right shot that's 6'6", is automatically he's gonna have everyone fired up. But he is awesome to watch. He's very fun. What a freak athlete.
Nice. The other one I have to ask about, just because you had him ranked so high in the way too early draft rankings. Again, that's why we do it, because we know so much is going to change throughout the draft year. Charlie Trethewey, what happened?
Again, like range of outcomes for him. Wasn't really impressed with a lot of his play this year at the program. I don't know. I just like don't feel super comfortable like taking him early, just given the fact that like there are plenty of showings he had where it's just like I don't know if he can play. Like, yeah, but it's, in theory, it's like a physical 2A D-man that's going to put up some offense. I think he had 20 points this year in 60 games. Same time, he's a 6'2" right shot defenseman, so like that is physical. So like, I mean, teams are going to love that. Who knows? Potentially still ends up going the first round. There's a like. People have him all over. Like there, I've seen some people have him late teens. I've seen some have him like late second round. I think again, just like wasn't a great year all around. Really tough to gauge the program as is, but I mean, the fact that 20 points, 60 games, and then just 1 point in 7 games at the U18s, you're probably not like super comfortable with the projection. But I mean, every once in a while, he does have flashes where you see it, but I don't know if he can be a reliable, just like play killer, play stopper, like through the neutral zone, because he's a good skater at his size. That's going to be a big key for him. Like at this point, he probably just projects as like a solid, like shutdown guy if he pans out.
Where's he going?
He's headed to BU, I think, right? Yeah, BU.
I knew it was one of the Bostons. I can never remember which.
I fuck them all up. I constantly do this. Like the like half of the program's going like BC or BU.
Right. Okay. Well, there we go. That's a wrap.